February 22, 1943, marked an important period in World War II, as the United States intensified its naval operations across the Pacific Theater, responding to the rapid expansion of Japanese forces throughout Southeast Asia and the Central Pacific. Amid this growing maritime struggle, the USS Iowa, BB-61, the lead ship of the Iowa-class battleships, emerged as a symbol of American naval power, demonstrating both technological advancement and strategic importance in World War II. Commissioned on February 22, 1943, in the Brooklyn Navy Yard, the Iowa represented the culmination of decades of battleship design, combining speed, firepower, and armor protection to meet the demanding challenges of modern naval warfare. The construction of the USS Iowa reflected lessons learned from earlier battleship engagements and the evolving nature of naval combat in the early 20th century. At 887 feet in length and displacing more than 45,000 tons fully loaded, the ship was designed to operate alongside carrier task forces and to provide both offensive and defensive capabilities against enemy surface ships, aircraft, and coastal defenses. Its 9 16-inch 50-caliber Mark 7 guns could deliver devastating shellfire at ranges exceeding 20 miles, capable of destroying enemy cruisers, fortifications, and other strategic targets. The Iowa's advanced radar-directed fire control systems, along with its rapid-firing secondary armament, allowed it to engage multiple threats simultaneously, making it one of the most versatile and formidable battleships of World War II. During its initial shakedown and training period in March 1943, the USS Iowa's crew underwent intensive preparation to master the complex systems on board. Officers and sailors trained in gunnery, navigation, damage control, and communication, reflecting the reality that modern naval warfare required not only a powerful ship, but also a highly disciplined and coordinated crew. The ship's ability to operate at speeds exceeding 33 knots, combined with its heavy armor and long-range firepower, made it ideal for fast carrier task forces operating in the vast expanses of the Pacific. The emphasis on speed was particularly critical because it allowed the Iowa to maneuver alongside aircraft carriers, providing both protection and support in offensive operations, while still capable of independent engagements against enemy surface combatants. By June 1943, the USS Iowa was integrated into the United States Navy's Pacific Fleet, embarking on its first operational assignments. One of the earliest missions involved escorting convoys and carrier groups in the South Pacific, providing artillery support for amphibious landings, and participating in naval gunfire bombardments against Japanese-held islands. The ship's role reflected the broader American naval strategy in World War II, which emphasized combined arms operations integrating surface warships, naval aviation, and amphibious assaults. Iowa's firepower was particularly critical in supporting ground troops during island-hopping campaigns, where Japanese fortifications often resisted initial assaults, requiring precise and sustained bombardment to neutralize enemy defenses before landing operations. In November 1943, the USS Iowa took part in the bombardment of Tarawa and other strategic islands in the Gilbert and Marshall Islands campaigns. These operations demonstrated the effectiveness of battleship artillery in World War II, where heavy shells could destroy bunkers, artillery positions, and supply depots that would otherwise threaten advancing Marines. The Iowa's large-caliber guns allowed commanders to engage targets far beyond the range of smaller vessels, providing an essential tool in the coordination of joint operations. Historical accounts from this period emphasize the accuracy and psychological impact of the Iowa's bombardments, which often disrupted Japanese defensive preparations and reduced the duration of direct ground engagements. As the Pacific Campaign progressed into 1944, the USS Iowa's operational significance increased further. The ship participated in the Mariana and Palau Islands campaigns, providing direct gunfire support during amphibious landings at Saipan, Guam, and Peleliu. These battles were characterized by intense resistance from entrenched Japanese forces, highlighting the critical need for naval artillery to weaken enemy positions before ground assaults. Iowa's ability to deliver sustained bombardment while remaining mobile and protected by anti-aircraft batteries ensured that the ship could operate effectively under the threat of enemy aircraft and shore-based artillery. Its integration with aircraft carriers allowed for a coordinated approach, combining airstrikes, long-range bombardment, and amphibious assaults in a multi-dimensional strategy that defined United States operations in the Pacific during World War II. One of the most significant engagements demonstrating the Iowa's capabilities occurred during the Battle of Leyte Gulf in October 1944. While the battle involved complex fleet movements, carrier-based air power, and multiple surface engagements, the presence of battleships like the Iowa provided both direct offensive firepower and protection for critical logistical and command elements. The ship's radar-directed main guns allowed for effective engagement of enemy vessels even under limited visibility conditions, while its anti-aircraft armament contributed to the defense of the fleet against kamikaze attacks that became increasingly prevalent during the later stages of World War II. The Iowa's combination of speed, firepower, and defensive systems illustrated how American battleships could complement carrier operations while still posing a threat to enemy surface combatants. Throughout 1945, as Allied forces advanced toward Japan, the USS Iowa participated in operations supporting the invasion of Iwo Jima and Okinawa. During these campaigns, the ship's large-caliber guns were used to neutralize coastal defenses and artillery positions that threatened landing forces. Historical documentation reveals that coordinated fire missions from the Iowa and other battleships significantly reduced casualties among U.S. Marines and Army units during initial landings. The ship's role also included protective escort for aircraft carriers, providing anti-aircraft cover against kamikaze attacks and other aerial threats. These operations demonstrated the multifaceted utility of modern battleships, which combined heavy artillery, mobility, and defense coordination in large-scale amphibious campaigns. Beyond direct combat, the USS Iowa also played an essential role in command and control operations. As one of the fastest and most technologically advanced battleships of its era, Iowa was equipped with extensive communication and radar facilities, enabling it to coordinate complex fleet movements and joint operations. Fleet commanders often used the ship as a flagship, leveraging its capabilities to maintain situational awareness and direct offensive actions across large oceanic distances. The Iowa's ability to integrate intelligence, reconnaissance, and operational planning reflected the evolution of naval warfare during World War II, where information dominance and rapid decision-making became as important as firepower alone. The ship's operational history in World War II also underscored the importance of crew proficiency and training. Effective use of the Iowa's advanced gunnery, navigation, and radar systems required precise coordination among hundreds of sailors. Historical reports highlight the rigorous drills, continuous practice, and disciplined routines that enabled the crew to operate under combat stress, maintain high readiness levels, and respond effectively to emergencies. Damage control exercises, anti-aircraft drills, and coordinated gunfire training were essential components of the ship's effectiveness in the Pacific theater, demonstrating that technological superiority alone was insufficient without a highly skilled and disciplined crew. Following the conclusion of World War II in August 1945, the USS Iowa continued to serve as a symbol of American naval dominance and technological achievement. The ship's performance during the Pacific campaigns provided valuable lessons for post-war naval doctrine, influencing battleship design, combined operations planning, and the integration of surface ships with air power. The historical record emphasizes that the Iowa's contribution was not limited to direct combat. It also represented the strategic and technological capacity of the United States to project power across the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean during a global conflict. Educationally, the story of the USS Iowa offers a comprehensive view of naval warfare during World War II. It illustrates the evolution of ship design, the integration of advanced fire control systems, the tactical application of artillery in amphibious operations, and the critical role of trained personnel in achieving operational effectiveness. Historians and military educators frequently reference the Iowa as a case study in combined arms operations, highlighting how battleships, aircraft, and ground forces were coordinated to achieve strategic objectives. The ship's history provides concrete examples of how technological innovation, strategic planning, and human performance intersected to influence the outcome of key battles in the Pacific theater. Throughout its service, the USS Iowa maintained a record of resilience, adaptability, and combat effectiveness. Its operations during World War II demonstrate the importance of multidimensional capabilities in modern naval warfare, where a single vessel could provide offensive artillery support, fleet protection, and command coordination. Historical accounts confirm that the ship's contributions were integral to the success of multiple campaigns, reflecting the broader industrial, logistical, and operational strengths of the United States Navy during the Pacific War. The Iowa's legacy, therefore, encompasses both its technical achievements and its operational impact, making it an enduring subject of study for military historians, students, and enthusiasts seeking to understand the realities of naval combat in World War II. Even decades after the conflict, the USS Iowa continues to serve as a tangible link to the history of World War II. Preserved as a museum ship, it offers educational opportunities for new generations to explore the scale, complexity, and human dimension of naval warfare. Visitors can study the ship's main guns, radar systems, living quarters, and operational spaces, gaining insight into the challenges faced by sailors during extended campaigns across the Pacific. These educational experiences reinforce the reality that victory in World War II depended not only on strategic vision and technological capability, but also on the dedication, skill, and resilience of individual servicemen operating under extreme conditions. In conclusion, the USS Iowa exemplifies how a single battleship could dominate the Pacific theater through a combination of firepower, speed, technological sophistication, and disciplined personnel. Its service during World War II illustrates the evolution of naval strategy, the integration of multi-domain combat capabilities, and the importance of operational flexibility in complex military campaigns. By studying the Iowa's history, students and historians gain a deeper understanding of the realities of warfare in the Pacific, the challenges faced by Allied forces, and the ways in which advanced warships contributed to the ultimate success of the United States Navy. The story of the USS Iowa is therefore not only a chronicle of battles and campaigns, but also an enduring lesson in military history, strategy, and the human dimensions of war. The USS Iowa's legacy extends beyond its immediate contributions to World War II, offering insights into the evolution of naval warfare, the industrial capacity of the United States, and the strategic interplay between technology and human skill. After the war, the Iowa, along with her sister ships, remained an important symbol of naval power and technological achievement. The experiences gained during the Pacific campaigns provided critical lessons for the design, deployment, and operation of battleships, aircraft carriers, and combined naval forces in the post-war era. Naval historians have emphasized that the Iowa exemplified the shift from traditional battleship-centric doctrines toward more integrated, multidimensional approaches that combined surface firepower with air superiority, logistics coordination, and intelligence-driven planning. In the immediate post-war years, beginning in late 1945, the USS Iowa underwent modifications and decommissioning cycles that reflected changing strategic priorities. While the age of the battleship was gradually giving way to carrier dominance, the Iowa-class ships retained relevance due to their versatility, speed, and firepower. Navy strategists studied her operational history to understand how a large capital ship could operate in coordination with fast-moving carrier groups, providing both offensive and defensive capabilities. This analysis underscored lessons learned during World War II, that superior firepower, while essential, required integration with air cover, reconnaissance, and well-coordinated fleet logistics to achieve strategic objectives in a global theater of operations. During the Cold War era, the USS Iowa was recommissioned multiple times, reflecting her enduring value as a platform capable of delivering long-range artillery, command functions, and coastal bombardment in support of American strategic interests. Although she no longer engaged in large-scale battles like those of the Pacific Theater, her service provided continuity between the lessons of World War II and the emerging doctrines of post-war naval operations. Educators and military historians often highlight this continuity to demonstrate how operational experience gained in one global conflict can inform planning, training, and ship design for future conflicts even in rapidly evolving technological and geopolitical environments. From an educational standpoint, the USS Iowa serves as a case study in multiple facets of military science and history. Students of World War II examine her design to understand the technological innovations that allowed battleships to remain relevant even as aircraft carriers became dominant. They analyze her operational deployments to study the tactical and strategic applications of naval artillery in joint operations. They explore crew training and discipline to learn how human skill and coordination can maximize the effectiveness of advanced technology under the stress of combat. These lessons are embedded in broader discussions of how industrial capacity, logistics, and planning intersect with human factors to shape the outcomes of war. The ship's contribution to amphibious operations in World War II also illustrates the complex coordination required between naval firepower and ground operations. During campaigns in the Gilbert, Marshall, Mariana, and Palau Islands, the Iowa's main guns were used to suppress enemy fortifications before landings, often providing the difference between heavy casualties and successful assaults. Historical records emphasize that these operations required meticulous planning, communication with forward observers, and precise timing to avoid friendly fire incidents while maximizing effectiveness. The Iowa's ability to deliver this support under the threat of enemy air attacks and difficult sea conditions exemplifies the practical challenges of naval combat in the Pacific theater. Additionally, the USS Iowa's role during the Battle of Leyte Gulf and subsequent operations in the Philippines highlights the importance of capital ships in fleet defense and command coordination. Her radar-directed main battery and anti-aircraft armament allowed her to protect carriers and troop transports against both surface and aerial threats. She served as a command hub in multiple engagements, illustrating how modern battleships could combine offensive and defensive functions in a rapidly evolving combat environment. These experiences contributed to the development of post-war naval doctrine, demonstrating the enduring relevance of lessons learned during World War II for operational planning, fleet organization, and technological adaptation. Beyond military and operational considerations, the USS Iowa offers an important lens for understanding the human dimension of naval warfare. The ship's complement of officers and enlisted sailors faced extreme conditions, long deployments, and the constant threat of enemy action. Historical accounts describe rigorous daily routines, continuous drills, and periods of intense combat readiness, reflecting the physical and psychological demands placed on naval personnel. Educators use these examples to emphasize that technological superiority alone does not guarantee operational success. It must be matched by effective training, morale, and leadership at every level of the crew. The Iowa's history provides a vivid illustration of how human resilience and expertise are inseparable from the broader machinery of war. In examining the USS Iowa's broader impact, historians also explore her symbolic significance in World War II and beyond. She became an icon of American industrial capability, representing the nation's ability to design, build, and deploy highly sophisticated warships in large numbers. The Iowa-class battleships demonstrated that a combination of advanced engineering, sustained production capacity, and disciplined human performance could project power across vast oceanic distances, influencing the outcome of global conflict. The story of the USS Iowa therefore encompasses not only tactical and operational success, but also the strategic dimension of industrial and technological advantage in modern warfare. Today, preserved as a museum ship in Los Angeles, the USS Iowa continues to educate the public about the realities of naval warfare in World War II. Visitors can explore the ship's main gun turrets, living quarters, radar stations, and operational spaces, gaining a first-hand appreciation of both the scale of the ship and the complexity of its operations. Exhibits emphasize the integration of technology, tactics, and human effort required to conduct effective naval operations. Through these educational programs, students and visitors learn that victories in World War II depended not only on strategic vision and technological innovation, but also on the discipline, coordination, and resilience of individuals operating in extreme conditions. Moreover, the Iowa's preservation allows historians to contextualize her achievements within the broader Pacific campaign. By examining her operational history alongside carrier operations, amphibious assaults, and combined arms strategies, scholars can understand how World War II unfolded as a complex interaction of multiple forces across vast distances. The ship's role underscores that successful naval operations required both superior firepower and effective integration with air power, logistics, and human resources. This holistic perspective provides enduring lessons for military education, strategic analysis, and historical understanding. The USS Iowa exemplifies the multifaceted nature of naval warfare during World War II. Her service in the Pacific illustrates the integration of technological innovation, operational skill, and disciplined personnel in achieving strategic objectives. The ship's participation in key campaigns, including island-hopping operations, naval bombardments, and fleet defense, demonstrates the practical application of modern battleship capabilities in complex operational environments. Her continued legacy as a museum ship and subject of historical study ensures that students, historians, and the public can learn from her example, gaining insight into both the technological and human dimensions of World War II. The USS Iowa's story is therefore not only a chronicle of battles and campaigns, but also a framework for understanding how innovation, coordination, and human skill combined to shape the outcome of one of the largest and most complex naval theaters in history. Through careful study, her operational history provides lessons in leadership, logistics, strategy, and the challenges of large-scale warfare that remain relevant to both military professionals and historians seeking to comprehend the realities of World War II. The USS Iowa's historical and educational significance extends beyond her immediate operational record in World War II to illustrate broader lessons about industrial capacity, technological innovation, and the evolving nature of naval strategy. The ship exemplifies how modern warfare demanded not only powerful weaponry, but also meticulous planning, coordination, and adaptability in response to changing battlefield conditions. In the Pacific Theater, where distances were vast, supply lines were vulnerable, and the enemy employed unconventional tactics such as kamikaze attacks. The Iowa's design and operational use reflected a holistic approach to naval warfare that combined mobility, firepower, protection, and human expertise. From an industrial perspective, the construction of the USS Iowa and her sister ships highlights the remarkable scale and efficiency of American shipbuilding during World War II. The rapid production of battleships, carriers, and support vessels allowed the United States to maintain both quantity and quality in its naval forces, a critical factor in sustaining prolonged operations across multiple theaters of the war. Shipyards in Brooklyn, Philadelphia, and other locations coordinated massive labor forces, sophisticated logistics, and complex engineering processes to deliver vessels like the Iowa on schedule and with cutting-edge capabilities. This industrial achievement not only ensured immediate operational effectiveness, but also demonstrated the strategic advantage of a nation capable of integrating technology, workforce, and resources on an unprecedented scale. Technologically, the USS Iowa incorporated advanced systems that reflected lessons learned from prior conflicts and contemporary innovations in naval warfare. Radar-directed fire control allowed for unprecedented accuracy in both daylight and low-visibility conditions, while extensive anti-aircraft weaponry provided a layered defense against air attacks. The main battery of 9 16-inch guns, capable of delivering devastating fire at long range, combined with rapid-firing secondary batteries and torpedo defense systems, made the Iowa an all-around platform for both offensive and defensive operations. Her speed, exceeding 33 knots, allowed her to maneuver with carrier task forces, conduct rapid repositioning in response to threats, and deliver fire support where it was most needed. These technological attributes were critical not only for direct engagement, but also for demonstrating the evolving philosophy of naval warfare in World War II: flexibility, integration, and responsiveness. Operationally, the USS Iowa's service illustrates the interconnectedness of modern naval campaigns. In the island-hopping strategy employed by the United States, battleships like the Iowa were essential for softening enemy defenses prior to amphibious landings, providing both suppressive fire and counter-battery support. the ship's ability to coordinate with carrier-based aircraft, landing forces, and reconnaissance units demonstrated a multi-domain approach to combat that foreshadowed post-war naval doctrine. For example, during the battles of Saipan, Guam, and Peleliu, the Iowa's gunnery directly contributed to the reduction of fortified Japanese positions, enabling ground forces to advance with lower casualty rates. These operations underscore that effective use of battleships required not only technical superiority, but also detailed coordination and timing. The human dimension of the USS Iowa's operations remains a central theme in both historical study and education. The ship's crew faced long periods at sea, the constant threat of enemy attack, and the physical and mental strain of operating complex systems in combat conditions. Training routines emphasized proficiency in gunnery, navigation, radar operation, and damage control, ensuring that sailors could respond quickly to unexpected situations. Leadership aboard the Iowa fostered discipline, resilience, and teamwork, illustrating that even the most advanced technology relies on human skill to achieve operational effectiveness. Historical accounts of morale, daily routines, and the challenges of extended deployments provide a window into the lived experience of sailors during World War II, complementing the technical and strategic aspects of the ship's history. The Iowa also played a crucial role in demonstrating command and control capabilities in large-scale naval operations. Equipped with advanced communication systems and radar networks, the ship functioned as a central node for coordinating fleet movements, directing fire missions, and integrating intelligence from multiple sources. During complex engagements such as the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the Iowa's ability to process information rapidly, relay orders, and engage multiple targets simultaneously contributed directly to fleet effectiveness. These functions highlighted the evolving nature of naval command in World War II, where information management, situational awareness, and coordination were as vital as firepower. In addition to combat operations, the USS Iowa's post-war history provides further educational insights. After World War II, she underwent periods of decommissioning and recommissioning, reflecting changes in naval strategy and technology. During the Cold War, she served as a platform for projecting power, conducting training exercises, and demonstrating American naval capability. These later deployments offered continuity between the lessons of World War II and evolving doctrines of modern naval operations, showing how experience and technological expertise could be applied to new strategic contexts. Educators used the Iowa's extended service to illustrate principles of adaptation, modernization, and strategic relevance over decades of changing geopolitical conditions. Furthermore, the Iowa's preservation as a museum ship allows for tangible engagement with history. Visitors can explore gun turrets, radar stations, living quarters, and operational spaces, gaining insight into both the scale of the ship and the complexity of her missions. Exhibits and educational programs emphasize how technology, tactics, logistics, and human effort combined to achieve success in World War II. Through these experiences, students and the public can appreciate the interplay between engineering, leadership, and operational strategy, reinforcing lessons that remain relevant in military studies, engineering education, and historical scholarship. The USS Iowa also serves as a case study in the broader strategic context of the Pacific War. Her contributions were not limited to individual engagements. They reflect the cumulative advantage gained by the United States through superior industrial capacity, technological innovation, and coordinated operational planning. The island-hopping campaigns, naval bombardments, and fleet defense operations in which she participated illustrate how combined arms operations and multi-domain warfare were essential to overcoming entrenched enemy positions and maintaining momentum across the Pacific theater. The Iowa's story demonstrates that victory in World War II depended not solely on individual heroism or isolated tactical successes, but on the integration of strategy, technology, and human performance on a massive scale. The USS Iowa's legacy provides enduring lessons for understanding the realities of World War II and modern naval operations. She exemplifies how technological innovation, operational planning, and disciplined personnel combine to produce strategic outcomes in large-scale conflicts. Her history highlights the importance of integration between surface combatants, air power, amphibious forces, and logistical networks, demonstrating that modern warfare is a complex interplay of multiple factors. By studying the Iowa, historians, educators, and military professionals gain insight into the practical realities of combat, the challenges of large-scale operations, and the human and technological resources necessary to achieve success in the Pacific theater. The story of the USS Iowa, therefore, continues to resonate as a comprehensive example of naval power in World War II, illustrating the strategic, technological, and human dimensions of warfare. Through careful analysis of her design, operations, and legacy, we gain a deeper understanding of how a single battleship could influence the outcome of campaigns, shape military doctrine, and provide enduring educational value for generations seeking to understand the realities of one of the most complex theaters of global conflict in modern history. The USS Iowa's story also serves as a lens through which we can examine the broader social, cultural, and geopolitical implications of naval power during World War II. The ship's construction, deployment, and operational history reflected not only military priorities, but also the United States' industrial capacity, workforce mobilization, and commitment to technological innovation in the context of a global total war. From shipyard workers laboring under tight production schedules to naval officers coordinating complex combat operations across thousands of miles of ocean, the Iowa embodied a collective effort that extended far beyond the ship itself. Each shell fired, each maneuver executed, and each successful mission was the culmination of extensive planning, coordination, and human endeavor that connected local communities in the United States to distant battlefields in the Pacific theater. From a geopolitical perspective, the USS Iowa and other American battleships symbolized the projection of power that the United States sought to achieve in the Pacific. In a war characterized by island-hopping campaigns, extended supply lines, and the need to contest vast maritime areas, the ability to deploy powerful, fast, and well-armed capital ships like the Iowa provided both practical and psychological advantages. The ship demonstrated to both allies and adversaries that the United States could sustain prolonged operations, support amphibious landings, and challenge entrenched Japanese forces in ways that smaller or less capable vessels could not. This projection of naval power had strategic implications beyond individual battles, shaping the operational planning of both the United States and Japan, and influencing decisions about the timing, location, and intensity of engagements across the theater. Culturally, the USS Iowa became a symbol of American resilience, ingenuity, and technological leadership during World War II. Media coverage, public reports, and later historical documentaries highlighted the ship as a representation of the nation's industrial might and military professionalism. The narrative surrounding Iowa and her sister ships contributed to a broader public understanding of the war, connecting civilians to distant battles and reinforcing the significance of home-front labor, scientific research, and naval service. This symbolic dimension of the Iowa underscores how military assets can influence morale, national identity, and public perception, reinforcing the interconnected nature of warfare, society, and culture. The operational lessons learned from the USS Iowa also influenced post-war naval design and doctrine. Even as the age of the battleship gave way to carrier-dominated fleets, the experiences gained from Iowa's deployments informed the integration of multi-domain operations, the coordination of heavy firepower with air support, and the development of naval strategies that emphasized mobility, adaptability, and force projection. For military planners and educators, studying the Iowa provides concrete examples of how operational performance, technological capability, and human factors intersect to shape strategic outcomes. These lessons remain relevant not only for historical analysis, but also for contemporary considerations in naval architecture, fleet composition, and maritime strategy. Furthermore, the USS Iowa's service highlights the importance of adaptability in warfare. Throughout the Pacific campaign, the ship faced evolving threats, from coastal fortifications and enemy surface vessels to aerial attacks and kamikaze tactics. The crew's ability to respond to these changing conditions through continuous training, real-time communication, and coordinated tactical adjustments exemplifies the dynamic nature of combat in World War II. Historical accounts emphasize that no single technological advantage could guarantee success. Rather, effective operations required the integration of intelligence, coordination, human skill, and leadership at every level. The Iowa's performance under these conditions serves as a case study in operational resilience and adaptability that informs both historical understanding and military education. The human experiences aboard the USS Iowa also illuminate the challenges and realities of life at sea during prolonged wartime operations. Crew members contended with long deployments, limited space, and the constant threat of enemy engagement. Daily routines included extensive drills, maintenance of complex machinery, gunnery practice, and readiness exercises, all of which demanded physical endurance, mental focus, and teamwork. Personal accounts from sailors describe the intensity of combat operations, the stress of prolonged vigilance, and the camaraderie forged under shared hardship. These narratives provide an essential human context for understanding the ship's operational achievements, reminding students and historians that strategic and technological success was inseparable from the resilience and dedication of the people who operated the ship. The USS Iowa's history provides insight into the interplay between innovation and tradition in naval warfare. The ship represented a bridge between older battleship doctrines, focused on heavy armor and large-caliber guns, and modern approaches that integrated air power, radar technology, and flexible fleet coordination. By examining Iowa's design, deployment, and operational adaptations, historians can trace the evolution of naval strategy from conventional surface engagements to multidimensional operations that anticipate threats, leverage technology, and coordinate across multiple domains. The ship serves as a practical example of how military innovation responds to both technological opportunity and operational necessity, a lesson that extends beyond World War II into contemporary maritime strategy. The preservation of the USS Iowa as a museum ship allows these lessons to be conveyed to successive generations. Visitors can experience the scale of the vessel, the complexity of its weapon systems, and the operational environment faced by sailors during wartime. Educational programs on the ship emphasize not only technical and tactical aspects, but also the broader historical context, including strategic decision-making, industrial production, and the social dynamics of the crew. By exploring the Iowa in this way, students and the public gain a comprehensive understanding of the multifaceted realities of naval warfare, bridging the gap between abstract historical accounts and tangible experiential learning. Moreover, the USS Iowa's operational history highlights the interconnectedness of technological, tactical, and human factors in determining the outcomes of complex military campaigns. Her performance during World War II demonstrates that success depended not only on superior engineering or firepower, but also on effective coordination with other ships, carriers, amphibious forces, and ground troops. The integration of these elements exemplifies the principles of combined arms operations, joint warfare, and strategic planning that remain central to military education today. By studying Iowa's role in the Pacific Theater, historians and students can understand how multidimensional planning and execution contributed to operational success and shaped the broader course of World War II. The story of the USS Iowa offers enduring lessons in leadership, discipline, and the ethical responsibilities of military service. Commanding officers had to make critical decisions under conditions of uncertainty, balancing the risks to the ship, the crew, and the larger mission objectives. The dedication and professionalism of the crew ensured that orders were executed effectively, risks were managed, and operations proceeded despite the inherent dangers of combat. These human elements, leadership, training, teamwork, and morale, were as essential to the ship's success as its technological and strategic capabilities, providing a holistic perspective on naval operations that remains relevant to both historical study and contemporary military practice.